Home prices are up nearly 60% since the pandemic. And mortgage rates? They're nearly double what they were just a few years ago. And the average home buyer is now 38 to 40 years old. So, naturally, someone decided to float around the idea of a 50-year mortgage. Yeah, you heard that right. A mortgage that lasts half a century. Who would have thought? But could this actually be a good thing? Or is it just another political gimmick? Well, let's break it all down. In order to fully understand how we got to this point, let's rewind all the way back to the 1940s. After World War II, the government created the 30-year mortgage through the GI Bill to help returning soldiers buy homes. It made monthly payments manageable and gave people the time to build equity. It was perfect for generations starting families. But by the 1950s, it became the gold standard. And today, over 90% of the homebuyers still pick it. Now, let's get into how mortgage payments work. Here's the catch. When you start a 30-year mortgage, a lot of your payments go straight to the interest. And it isn't even until around year 10 or 12 where you really start hitting that principal payment hard. But by then, a lot of people have already moved. So that means if you move or refinance, which, let's be honest, most people do around year 12, you've barely hit any equity. It's like running on a financial treadmill. In steps in the 50-year mortgage. Sounds great, right? And where did this even come from? Well, it was originally a thing that our president decided to do, and it has a lot more backing by big developers, which the whole reason behind it was to make housing more affordable. Sounds great, right? Well, it doesn't sound as good as one may think. Here, let's just do the math real quick. Going from a 15-year to a 30-year mortgage boosts affordability about 34%. But 30 to 50 years? You're looking at just a 8% drop in your monthly payment. And that is if the interest stays the same. But it won't. Longer loans means more risk. More risk means higher interest rates. So your payments might not even be cheaper. On a $500,000 loan at a 50-year mortgage at 7% interest could cost you the same or more per month than a 30-year at 6.1%. And the kicker? You'd pay upwards of $800,000 on that same home that cost you $500,000 for the loan, and you would do that all just to save a couple $100 monthly. Does that really sound worth it to you? I mean, think about it. You're getting a loan for $500,000, but in the overall that you're paying back, that very house is $800,000. Now, let's talk about equity, or lack of it. Here's what's realistically scary. Let's say you're on year 12 of paying off your 50-year $500,000 loan, right? And you've only managed to pay $32,000 of that principal interest down. Let's say the market dips close to 6%. You've lost money. Your entire equity could just vanish. You'd owe more than what your house is worth. Just like the 2008 crisis. Now, why don't banks and investors want this? Well, the mortgage really follows closely with the treasury. And what I mean by this is mortgage rates are tied to 10-year treasury bonds because most people refinance or sell within 10 years. A 50-year loan ties up investor money for decades. That means more risk, less liquidity, and less incentive for banks to offer them without major government backing. Which brings us to the next problem, the regulatory wall. Under current conditions, no mortgage is to exceed 30 years. And with the introduction of this 50-year mortgage, under the current conditions, it isn't considered standard. And here's why that is a major issue. It is no longer considered a qualified mortgage. This means it strips away key legal protections for lenders. Unless Congress decides to rewrite the rules, and let's be honest, that's unlikely, the 50-year mortgages aren't going to be mainstream. So why even talk about it? Well, essentially, it's just, I hate to say it, but almost for political gain. Now, what I mean by this is experts say that it isn't going to necessarily fix the current problem. It's like you've broken your leg and someone's like, puts a little band-aid over it and it's like, yeah, you'll be fine. It's like, a band-aid's not gonna help a broken leg. It's like, you'll be fine. Yeah, like I understand, but trust me, you'll be a-okay. I call it political theater.
Julian!
It sounds bold, but it makes headlines. And even Trump called it not a big factor and admitted that it would only help a little bit. Realistically, if we wanted real change in the housing market, this is how you should do it. You should raise the capital gains exclusion on home sales to $1 million and index it to inflation. That would unlock inventory by encouraging older homeowners to sell. Allow assumable or portable mortgages so people can take their low interest rate with them when they move. Expand the mortgage interest deduction cap for high-cost areas. And of course, we need to build more homes, especially starter homes and affordable units. Look, there's no magic affordability mortgage thing that we could possibly do to make housing more affordable overnight. We're just essentially stretching the pain a little bit more. And if we want to fix the housing crisis, realistically, we shouldn't just put a band-aid on it. We should enact policies that make things better for home buyers and home sellers. Give people more of an incentive to travel or to make that move. Because if we're not making people have an incentive to move, then I don't know what you're really expecting from people, right? Like, because some people just won't move because they're like, we have a low mortgage rate and we want to keep it. So realistically, if we want fixes, we need policies that tackle the root of the problem and not just pile on more decades of debt, because that's what we need, right? If you guys enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a like, share, comment, and actually in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts are on this 50-year mortgage, because to me it's absolutely ridiculous and will not help at all and could potentially make things a lot worse than what they already are. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in learning how to buy in this crazy market, I do have videos for that, or you can book a one-on-one session with me and we can discuss your goals. If you plan on selling, again, feel free to reach out to me. I do have guides for that specifically, especially if you're in the Greenville, Michigan area. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching, and see ya.